In war, every side has its bad days, which usually ends in the slaughter for that side's ground troops. But in war, the largest faction present is often ignored: civilians. War always brings death and destruction to civilians, but some battles are worse than others, and end with innocent civilians slaughtered in obscene numbers. Today, we'll be counting down 5 such battles. Now, please keep in mind that for the sake of diversity, we're making this video centered on the battles of the Clone Wars, and we'll probably do other eras in the future. The reason for this is simple: certain massive events from across galactic history would crowd everything else out, and it's simply too large of a pool to deal with in a way that isn't redescribing a half a dozen events we've all heard of before. So with that out of the way, let's begin. The infamous Battle of Basara was fought 9 months into the Clone Wars and was responsible for the wartime popularity of the CIS shadow feed. Basara was a mining world owned by the Commerce Guild that came under siege from a Republic force, led by Jedi General Imperiutos Brand. Brand emerged from the battle victorious, but there was a catch. He had won by shelling the Separatist stronghold, which created a storm of shrapnel that shredded a village of hundreds of miners, killing at least 400 and wounding many more, a sizable percentage of the planet's sparse population. The Republic initially covered the incident up, but the Shadowfeed ran a story on it that was spread across the Republic. It was a Republic propaganda disaster, and an even worse disaster for the miners themselves. Heading back into more familiar territory, at number 4 we have the Battle of Ryloth. Ryloth, as we all know, was taken by the Techno Union shortly after the Battle of Christosis, and held for weeks under Wat Tambor's iron fist. Tambor pillaged the planet during his rule and badly mistreated the local Twi'lek population, which suffered bombings, use as meat shields, and starvation. But it only got worse when the Republic invaded. Tambor began looting and then bombing entire villages into oblivion, killing obscene numbers of Twi'leks. The civilian populace of Ryloth suffered terribly as a result of the battle, securing it a spot on this list. At number 3, we have the first, but not the last appearance of General Grievous on this list. The Battle of Gentes was fought in 20 BBY, and resulted in Grievous capturing the planet with ease. It's the aftermath of the battle that's so devastating, however. Grievous had all the Ugnaughts that weren't killed in the battle rounded up after it, and gathered together. One huge dome building housed a large part of the population, but was obliterated from orbit when Grievous ordered his fleet to fire on it to make a point to a group of Jedi younglings. This killed thousands, if not millions of Ugnaughts, and made Grievous's point very clear to the small children that he was trying to make it to. It also added more bloods to the hands of a general that, as we'll see later, already had enough and to spare. Next up, we have the Battle of Tracon. The Battle of Tracon was one of the longest battles of the war, having started only a few days after the Battle of Geonosis and lasting for nearly a year. Tracon was a source of dunium, an extremely valuable material used in starship hulls, and as a result was fiercely contested between the Republic and the Commerce Guild, which owned the planet. The Separatists entrenched themselves in the planet's mines, and the Republic had a hard time getting them out. For months, the battle was a murderous string of stalemates, until the Republic began using indiscriminate missile strikes to drive the Confederacy back, in what was called Operation Katabatic. But as the Republic came closer to victory, the Confederacy decided it wouldn't be outdone so easily. The Separatists poisoned Tracon's water supply, and by the time that they had been defeated, the entire planet was dead. 90% of Tracon's population was killed, and the rest were forced to flee the planet, which was polluted beyond repair. But not even the Battle of Tracon can match the sheer levels of civilian carnage that our next battle displays. In our number 1 spot, we have another obscure battle, but a devastating one nonetheless. Humbaron was a high-profile core world, having been a founding member of the Republic, and like Coruscant, was a Eucumenopolis, a planet covered by one massive city. Humbaron was fiercely loyal to the Republic, and when General Grievous and a fleet of warships arrived above it during Operation Dirge's Lance, it refused to surrender. What followed was an hour-long orbital bombardment that melted Humbaron's crust and wiped out the entirety of the planet's population. The pre-bombardment population of Humbaron is unknown, but considering that it was a city planet and one of the most important worlds in the Republic, one can assume it was at least in the hundreds of billions. The bombardment of Humbaron makes General Grievous the worst war criminal of the Clone Wars, if not in the history of the Star Wars universe. The utter carnage cannot be put into words. So that's the top 5 Clone Wars battles with the highest civilian casualties, and as per usual, what do you guys think? Are you thoroughly depressed now? And more importantly, can you think of anyone directly responsible for more deaths than General Grievous? Post your thoughts in the comment section below, and as always guys, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.